So before this episode starts, if you do enjoy the Legged podcast and you do want to support us for just £1 a week, you can on Patreon. And with doing so, you get early access to all our episodes and an extra weekly episode of me and Jordan just chewing the fat. Thanks for the support. Nice one.
The Legged podcast is sponsored by Montrex. Montrex is a cutting-edge sportswear brand empowering athletes across the world, built to enhance performance and give you confidence to go the extra mile. They've got some of the most incredible products at montrex.com. There is a link below this video. Click the link and at checkout, enter the code LEGIT for 15% off your order. That's LEGIT, all one word. Everything from jackets, cargo pants, gym tops, t-shirts, running jackets, running pants. Everything is on their website, and they sponsor some of the most incredible athletes. Everything from UFC fighter Leon Edwards and a good friend of the podcast, boxer Jazza Dickens. So click the link below, use the code LEGIT at checkout for 15% off your order.
Right, welcome to the Legged podcast. It's me, Jordan Neild.
It's me, Andy Grant, and this week's guest is Dave Thelwell. What's happening, mate?
Mate, honestly, like, we try and do research on guests and stuff, but this is a story where I don't even know where to start.
I've got so much past. You wouldn't know where to start, really.
First big shout out we'll say to Chris, my old barber, because he was the one who said, mate, you need to get him on. So massive shout out to Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
And also big shout out to our sponsors, Montrex, as well. You get 15% off if you type in Legged at checkout, and also their clothing. Type in Legged20 for 20% off them. All the links are in the description.
Let's get to it.
This is going to be a belter. Mate, probably best asking you, where do you want to kind of start? I mean, you want to talk about growing up in Liverpool when it was, or what?
Yeah, so I'll tell you at the start the history of me, what I do and things. That'll be the best to start, like, you know. So when I was 18, I started apprenticeship with a London firm, Campbell Smith. Still going a little bit now. And I'd done my apprenticeship with them, and they were based in Liverpool as well, but they closed down later on. The work that we were doing was like palaces, stately homes, churches. That's all we done, all the specialist things, like, you know. So then when they closed, I started working for myself.
Where were all the palaces in Liverpool then, by the way?
There's loads in Liverpool.
All the big grand buildings, yeah.
You haven't got a palace?
I'm full of them.
Yeah, so, you know, I was down to London doing Bookhouse number 10, everything like that. I used to do all that. There was one time I'm going through the doors in number 10, and the copper said, let's have a look at your pass again, like, you know. And he's looking at it and he goes, how come you've got an all areas pass and I haven't, like that? And I just looked at him and went, obviously they don't bloody trust you. And I just carried on walking through the door number 10, like, you know.
Fucking hell.
It's such a thing, like, it's quite a cool thing to fall into, isn't it? I mean, like, on an apprenticeship, and, you know, seeing all these sort of grand buildings and...
Yeah, I'm meeting people and things, like, you know. I met Lady Diana.
Yeah?
I met Charlie. Nearly had an argument with Charlie, but, like, you know, that was another story. Do you know what I mean?
Do we get to hear that story?
Charlie. Love it.
You know what? He got us to paint this corridor in the palace, like, you know, and I put a complaint in about the smell of the paint. Right? And he was the one that told us to use this paint that stunk, that nearly killed us. You know what I mean? We couldn't breathe in this corridor, like, you know. I put a complaint in like that, and I said, right, I'm going to pull him up when I see him, like, you know, like that. And I knew he'd be there on this certain day, like, you know, like that. And my mate's going, listen, if you're going to pull him up, don't call him scallops. You know what I mean? He says, you're going to add to that, go, hey, scallops, come here, like that. He says, don't call him scallops, like that. And I went, all right. He said, but you are going to pull him up, aren't you? And I went, freaking right, I am. You know what I mean? So when he's walking around and he come round and went, excuse me, and I nearly stopped. You know what I mean? I mean, mate was for that, like, you know, like that. And I said, we had a complaint coming through your secretary about the smell, and he went, oh yeah, and he went, you're the one that told us to use this bloody gear. Do you know what I mean? I said, it stinks. We said use this stuff, and then we've got to use, and he went, oh yeah, it was me, wasn't it? I went, yeah. I said, can you ask for a bit of an apology? He said, I'll sort that, yeah. Never freaking got one.
You know?
No.
Do you know what? That little sequence just fucking sums it all up, doesn't it? Like, you're complaining about their own decisions.
What was Diana like?
I only met her twice when I was working there in Kensington Palace, but she was all right. She was very friendly and all that. Like, you know, she was good.
So I met Charles once in I sound like a proper toff. I was out skiing in Switzerland and got to meet him.
Yeah.
But I like literally shook hands with him for a second. But I did get to work with Prince Harry quite a lot in the Invictus Games, and he's a boss fella.
Yeah.
He's dead sounding.
Yeah. I remember seeing him when he was about bloody 3 foot high. You know, and we got told off for like sort of waving him towards the back of the palace. We were working in the ballroom, and they were running around in the back, and we were like, Harry, like that. And then he was coming over, and the security guard would stop calling them. They could have hurt themselves and things like that.
You know what the maddest thing about that? Obviously, you're doing your job, but like their little royal life is just like going on around you. Do you know what I mean? And nobody else in the country gets to sort of see past that door, did he really?
Yeah. But Diana's alright. She'd say hello to you and everything. You know, she was good. Yeah.
What are you saying when you're going back? You're telling, like, you don't know, mums, dads, mates or whatever, like, when... I'm guessing most lads in the pool weren't, like, painting number 10 and the palaces and stuff.
My Uncle Harold. You know, remember, he wasn't my uncle, but he was your uncle, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Dead sound.
And he was a painter. And my aunt fella was a joiner, and he would not show me nothing. You know, he didn't want me to be a joiner. He showed me, lad, my son, taught him everything, and he's a joiner now. And I wanted it, and I was sorry. So, like, I was with my Uncle Harold, and he showed me the ropes, and I loved it. You know, so he got me into this company, like, you know. And best move I ever made, like, you know.
So, yeah, Kensington Palace, then number 10. Where else was you down there?
I've done, like, loads of Sultans, Sultan of Oman, Sultan of Brunei, I've done all their gaffs and everything. They've got a lot of places around London. So all the well-to-do people's houses that I do, like, you know. And then, you know, Westminster Abbey, things like that. I used to work in there, everywhere. Yeah. You know, done most of the gold leaf in London. You know, so that's quite.
For those who won't, like, for those listening who won't quite understand the difference, what's like the speciality of painting these, like, you know, these places?
The cost of materials, like, you know, some of the wallpapers, £1,000 a length.
Fucking hell.
Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot of it's like sort of silk, and it's got embroidered birds in it and everything, like, you know. And it takes months to produce one length of paper, and then the paper's in a scene. So you've got like 15 lengths of paper on a wall.
Yeah.
If you knacker one, you've knackered a lot. Got to do it again.
Fair bit of pressure then, obviously working for that sort of...
Don't panic. Do you know what I mean? I do wood chip as well, like, you know. Mahogany chip.
Yeah, I was going to say that,
Not pine chip.
How old are you at this point then doing...
I am not now.
No, not now, like at
when I first started, when I was 18 when I started, you know. And I've brought 2 apprentices on. I'm on my 3rd apprentice now. So I've got a new apprentice started now.
Oh, nice.
So this is my last one now. I've got one more in me, and it's so hard teaching a kid up, like, you know.
Yeah, I bet.
It's so hard. There's so much input to teach him. You know, it's not a can of, it's just a case of just open up a can, dipping your brush in and all that. There's so much involved in my game, like, you know. So, and I love it. I love every bit of my job.
That's good to hear.
You know, I do enjoy my job, and I take pride in it, you know. And I don't advertise now, because all my customers just keep coming back, like, you know. But the way I look at it, if I can have a laugh with my customers, that's it. If I go in and I'm meeting a new customer or something, and you can't have a laugh with them, that's not for me.
No.
Personality sells, mate, I think, you know, as soon as,
100%.
You know, it's work, and we've all got to go and do it, but if you can bring a bit of humour or have a bit of a laugh, it helps, doesn't it?
Like a lot of customers with pure OCD, and it just gets on me wick. Do you know what I mean? When you open the cupboard and all the labels are facing you, and things like that, so you got to turn everyone around.
Leave your mark.
There's my other friend Dan, like, you know, I finished the room and I was hoovering up, and do you know what? It was spotless like that. She walked in, she went, "Just leave it," and I went, "What?" I said, "There was cleaner than when I walked in." You know, like that. She went, "Leave it like that." So her husband was laughing, like, you know, like that. He went, "Just have a look tomorrow," like, you know. So I went in the next day, and the lines were in the carpet.
Oh,
you know, right down the living room like that. I mean, I have to walk on the dark lines coming that
Shut up.
Like a one-way system.
On the light lines coming through this door to that way. And I went, "You're joking." He went, "That's how bad she is. She just keeps on going on like that," like, you know. So then the next time when I finished the living room like that, I'd cleaned up, like, you know, and I knew she'd say leave it. So she went, "Leave it." So I went, "Yeah, all right," like that. So I'm just walking out the door, and I flicked the switch, and just had the 2 fans on the thing, and I had cornflakes on the top of them. Your house is a mess. See you later.
What do you like when you're going into? Obviously, these people have got a lot of money, and it's like £1,000 a strip. Is there a bit, you know? I mean, I don't know anything about your circumstances growing up, but I mean, I'm imagining there weren't £1,000 rolls of paper in your house growing up in Liverpool. I mean, is there a bit of you thinking, what the fuck are they spending this money on? Or is it, you're excited because it's a new project for you, and it's, what are you?
I go blind to it now, and I'm not bothered when they say, oh, this is like 38 grand for one room for the wallpaper, and whatever. Do you know what I mean? If they want to waste the money on that, well, you know, it's up to them, innit?
Yeah.
Like £38,000 for a room is just like us spending £180 for a room.
Yeah.
That's how the way they look at it. You know, but they've got the money. They spend it.
It's a different ball game, isn't it? I think more what, like, for us, from being where we're from, you know, you'd walk in and you'd say, wow, and you'd probably like appreciate, you know, the work to go in to get something of that monetary value. But for them, it's just all they've ever known, I guess. Do you know what I mean?
You're seeing some of the rooms though, like, you know, and then when you walk in, you think, oh, I'm going to redo this, and then when you finish it, you know, it's going to be there for years, like, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, it's great.
I guess doing what you do, there's a lot of pride in what you do and like how you deliver you know what you do.
Do you know what? I love doing the stuff in Liverpool. Like, I've done all the town hall, and I've done every room in the town hall.
Wow.
And I've done the little concert room in St George's Hall. I don't know if you've been in there. I restored all that, and that's perfect, like, you know. So all them little bits I like doing. You know, it's sort of I've sort of lost that now, all that work that I've done, because of the way the council's changing now and things like that. And there was a lot of the, you know, the backhanders going on and everything, just shed loads of that going on.
We had Joe on the pod.
Yeah. I lost out on loads of work, like, you know, but that's just the way it is, isn't it? So now it's just like it's changing again now, which for the better. But I can't see me getting my foot in the door now. So someone else will end up doing it, and I hope they carry on doing the work, but I don't know.
I guess your impact, like George says, like the pride you must have, because there's people who've been in these rooms all around the world now, and you know yourself, when you go into somewhere nice,
it's wow.
It's like, wow. And you're given, that's a boss feeling, that.
There's a couple of rooms in the town hall. Now, they were painted with gold paint, and it went black. And it looked terrible, like, and we had this fellow who was doing the maintenance there for the council, and he'd fight to get money to do the rooms properly, and he was really good. He's retired now, a lovely fella, and he'd say, listen, this needs doing in gold as it was originally, and then it got touched up with paint and all this and knackered. So he'd fight, and then they'd get like sort of funding for it, to like lottery and bits and bobs. He'd fight for that and say, right, I've got the money to do this in gold now. You know, not coming out the council coffers, but, you know, we get the funding for it and we'll do it. It looks perfect now, and it'll be like that for 200 years now. It's spot on.
I think that's the legacy part of it, isn't it? Obviously, you know, decorating, for example, this room, it's not going to last, you know, a great amount of time, but I guess what you're doing is sort of, you know, it's going to be here for, you know, way after you're gone, the way after we're gone, sort of thing. I think that's the legacy part of it, isn't it?
And I'll always do it right. If someone says, oh, just give it a coat of this, I'll go, it's not for me, mate. It's there.
Have you always been like that, being like, no, if I'm doing it, it's getting done properly?
Yeah.
You always had that work ethic to, like, it's going to be the best?
Yeah. That's it. I just don't like cutting corners and things. I'd just rather walk away. You know, in terms of like people, oh, he's cheaper than you, so we'll just get him to do it, and then he'll phone up, can you come and sort it out? He's messed it up.
It's knowing your value, isn't it? Definitely in your sort of game where, you know, it's not a huge pool.
I'll never have anyone off, like, do you know what I mean? Just that's not in my bones. But I still love my job. It's great. You know?
So you're floating around the UK then, or London I should say, doing all these buildings and stuff? Yeah,
I'm just doing one of the royal family for a Middle East person at the moment.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing his house there in Hyde Park. He spent 900 million on it.
What?
900 million on 2 houses. Did it together.
Yeah.
So sort of knocked through. And he spent 900 million on 2.
And you're decorating it?
Doing bits in there.
900
in there, that's it.
It's nearly £1 billion.
Pocket change, mate.
That's nothing. It's nothing.
that sort of, obviously, you know, we're going to come on to it, but that sort of Middle East like influence now, you know, you look across the whole world, the influence that they're having, as you know, on sport, culture, you know, even come to London and places like that, the money they've got is just a different level. Like,
they don't even ask you for a price.
Yeah.
People say, I want that gold. Okay, yeah, there you go. Right, well, it's going to be. Just do it. That's it.
So it's back in the day when you're kind of first starting off doing all this, are you thinking like straight away this is a job for life? Obviously you're on your apprenticeship doing it and then you're into the company. I mean, how's your career? Are you just thrown into, right, come on, we're decorating this? I mean, how's your career progression with the jobs and your roles and things like that?
So my career's going as good as I wanted to go, really. I could have went big, but I don't want that, because then you start getting all fellas in and things like that and they don't give a hoot, really.
Yeah.
So I want the quality to be all the time. So I'm in like a bit of a... I've got like mates who do like wallpaper and who just does that all the time. Like, you know, where I can do everything. I've got mates who just do wallpaper and mates who'll do spraying and things like that, you know. And I'll do the marbling and the gilding and everything. So we all come together if there's a big job. You know, and I can trust them. I can say, do that room, and they do the same with me. You know, call me in.
Imagine that, hey George, there's a 900 million quid job here, lads, are you busy?
yeah.
I'll do it the weekend.
No, I can't make it. But yeah, I guess obviously, you know, you're dealing with, you know, despicable amount of money, really. I think, you know,
it's sick, innit? Really, like, you know, I can't see me ever having that much money in my life.
But back in the day, then, when your early 20s, when you kind of thrust into this kind of, what's your kind of job role then? Are you, in your early 20s, are you thinking this is a job I want to stick with? What are your kind of roles, responsibility? How was your kind of career progression?
So lucky, my Uncle Harold had me doing all the crappy jobs as well, and I'm thinking, I don't want to do this. He said, look, you've got to do the rubbish jobs as well as doing the high class jobs, you know. So then he was getting me on the nice jobs, and I thought, I like this, you know what I mean? And he was showing me how to do like wood graining and things like that, and I thought, this is amazing, you know. So then I go and paint my half fella's house, then, and he's going, do you know what I mean? I'd cock up, like, you know, didn't do it right and put the paint on, it wouldn't dry for about 3 weeks. You know what I mean? So I forgot to put something in it to make it dry, you know. So like, so then my Uncle Al showed me everything, so then I got into the Campbell Smith, like, you know, and then they showed me what to do.
Doing on a different level.
So then that's when I was out in the Middle East when I was 19.
Not young, yeah.
So after a year I was out there, started out in Oman. So I was out there for about a year, you know, on and off. And then...
What year was this?
That was about the 80s it was. The 80s, yeah.
I guess back then, you know, obviously working in places like Oman and stuff. Now, obviously, these places are, you know, boomed and, you know, all this stuff. But it must have been like a world that had never been touched, really, for someone from Liverpool. Do you know what I mean?
It was, you know, but now there's like, it's gone to other countries now for the cheaper labour to go in and things, like, you know, where it was all the expats are over there doing it then. You know, and it was good. You know, I didn't like having the Indians for labourers and things because they were treating them like crap. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't do that. Do you know what I mean? A person's a person, innit?
Absolutely.
Over there, a person, it was just a number.
Yeah.
And that's the only bit I didn't like. You know, but like I met a few Indians there, like, you know, and we had this one, Kanji's, he's a lovely fella. And he was older than me, well older than me. And we were chatting to him and said, what do you want? What are you doing here? He went, I've got another 8 years left here. All right, I need to save up £3,000 to buy this farm. So in 8 years, he was going to save up £3,000 like that. So then, when you do the gold, all the bits of gold that fall off is the gilders. You know what I mean? So it can add up to a lot of money, like, you know. So this the Kanji fella was putting all the glue on. So in my eyes, he's part of our team. You know what I mean? So he should have had a share. We put all the gold together and split it between everyone. And this London fellow would say, like, you're going home, you take the gold home and cash it in, like that, and then split it between the three of us, like that. And I go, 3? There's 4 of us? And he goes, no, 3 of us, you, me, blah, blah, blah. And I went, oh, Kanji? And he went, sod him. Do Do you know what I mean? I went, no, he's in it, like, you know, like that. So I went back to London, got the money in, like, you know, it was like $6,000. Do you know what I mean? So I went like that, my bit, there's your bit. And I give him his. Do you know what I mean? Like that, and he was crying.
Wow.
He never had so much money in his life, like, you know. So then the next one, because we were there for 3 months, gilding every day. All right, and we had quite a few bob in gold, like, you know, in the bits that fell off. So I'd got his bank account number, because he said I can't put that on my bank, so I got the missus to transfer it to him, and I got that back off him. So we had that in his bank, so I had his details. So the next time I went, we went in, and he had his $3,000. Do you know what I mean?
That's bossed out.
Made his life.
Come in, and he was crying his eyes out, like, and I'm going, what's wrong? And he went, you. He said, I can pack in now. Do you know what I mean? I said, don't pack in now. I said, you know what I mean?
Now give us a minute.
Give us back at the end of the job. Do you know what I mean? So we stayed there for like another 2 years, and that was it then. He bought his farm.
Wow.
And he bought a taxi cab as well. So that made him.
Set up for life now, isn't he?
Yeah,
Back in
I was
India.
made up then. That was good. But the London lads were doing the nuts. I'm going, you're out of order.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that's part of, you know, not to blow our own trumpet, but that's definitely part of where we're
Scouse
from, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I couldn't look at somebody like that and go, we've done, you know, we've sort of worked together, and I'm here with a little Brucey, and you're, you know,
So
grafting away.
Palace Hotel we were doing, and there was 9 Indians just walked through a lift shaft. Wasn't blocked off or nothing. Just walked in, thought it was a staircase. Dead. 9 of them killed, like, you know.
Really?
So I phoned up the office and said, listen, 9 of the lads have been killed here. They're just like getting them out this lift shaft, like, you know. And I gave him the names, and he went, oh, freaking hell, I'll get you another 9 tomorrow. And I go, hold on a minute.
The humans,
What do I mean? I said, get in touch with the families. And he went, I'll do it tomorrow. And I went, you're an arsehole.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just put the phone down on him.
That's what I was going to say about, obviously, you know, going to work in them places, sort of, you know, the 80s and stuff. What was the level of, you know, sort of like safety and stuff like that? Because
Yeah, we're hearing about it now with the World Cup, aren't
exactly,
we? Even
stuff,
now,
yeah.
so...
Yeah, no, there was none of that really there, no. No, they used to make you a pair of step ladders out of 3v2s and things like that, and that's your ladder. You know, freaking hell. You know, get up bamboo towers and everything, like, you know, that's what it was like. At first I'd say to the boss, yeah, you get up there, like, and if he wouldn't go up, I wouldn't go up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Not being anyone's guinea pig, like.
That's what I'm doing now.
Yeah. No. God, I just think as well, and that's only like, what, 19, 20, you know, man, like, you know what I mean? You're just starting your career as well then, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's cool, like, because you seem...
Yeah, so that started me off then thinking, you know, this is what I want to do, you know. And then you can specialise in different fields, whatever you want to do. You know, I like the marbling and the gilding. Keep to that. I like that. So marbling is where you're copying marble, and if you're a wood grainer, you're copying this, you know, the wood. So I like keeping to that, but I'll do everything down the line. You know, but I do like it. It's a nice job.
Where does your life then take you from old man as you're kind of going through your 20s then?
We went to old man and went to Euro Disney. That's what we call it. Euro Disney. Oh, a crap place that was. Mud. Freaking freezing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was putting some gold on outside the castle. Cinderella's castle. Do you know what I mean? So put that on your CV. Cinderella's King's Queen, Cinderella's castle. Like, you know? I was working there, and that was quite fun, like, you know.
Yeah.
But that was so cold there.
You've seen so many, like, very few people in the world, really, where the job takes them to these, like, you know, far and away places, yeah, and it's great that you call it Euro Dismal, because loads of people's dreams are like to go and see Disney. And
I took me little girl.
Yeah.
Closed Disney now, Euro Disney.
Where? Since when?
Apparently there's mice this fucking big one.
Just got onto the bill.
Yeah.
French as well,
Oh, you'd had me then, I was thinking, oh.
He's like, I'm booked in. Yeah, I can imagine what a job in like a faraway place with you would have been like when you were like...
Oh, yeah.
You must have had some laughs, but...
It's got me that. Fucking mice, what?
He loves it.
Yeah. So when we, you know, So get on to, do you know when I went to Baghdad then?
Yeah, I was going to say, the
Just
story...
after that, was it? Yeah.
Yeah. So later, 1989, I went to Baghdad, and I only went over for 6 weeks. So I ended up staying there for 6 months, like, you know. But after like sort of 2 weeks of being there, they're expecting this to be finished in like 6 weeks, and I'm going, fucking no chance, you know. And everyone that was on the building site, the palace, like, you know, we're all just on the piss. So not much was getting done, but everyone in London thought the job was done. You know, so then when I got over there, like, you know, then I was on the piss then. You know, the other lads, what have you done? Done this, but I haven't done nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that one sort of crept along a bit, like, you know. So then we started getting more people out there, so I thought, look at me mates out here, they'd be freaking great.
It's like Magaluf on steroids, isn't it?
So I started getting my mates in, and like, you know. And then they said, oh, this other lad's coming over, and I hated this lad. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd worked with him a few times, like, you know, like that. So I said, oh, alright, yeah. So I made sure that he shared the room with me. Do you know what I mean? So I could start doing things to him. So, what do you got? I said, don't drink the water. He says, I heard that. So I brought me little tablets. So he says, you put the water and then you put the tablet in it. And it purifies the water, and then you put your orange in it, like, you know. And I said, that's perfect, that. It's perfect, like, you know. So he'd make, every night, he'd make his bottles of orange, to like that. And then he'd go down the bar and I'd go like that. You know what I mean? Under the tap. The tap water, put his orange in and put it back in the bottle. You know what I mean? See the places. Oh, it is good salt, isn't it? You know what I mean? And I'm going, can't be the water. You know what I mean? He's going, no. Like
guzzling it.
Every time you go to work and be up, hold on. Come back in a minute. And you shoot to the toilet, like, you know what I mean? So I did for weeks and weeks doing this, like, do you know what I mean? And he just got skinny and... you know what I mean?
Just shit in the bed.
I'm thinking, I'm fucking getting you back here for the years of shit you've been doing. I'm taking a bit back.
Oh, fuck that, mate, that is unbelievable.
I know that though from when we were in Afghan, mate. As soon as you got to Afghan, everyone got DMV, and you had to go and isolate, you know, in case you spread it round. And fucking, you were losing about 2 stone in a day. You know what I mean? It was fucking ruthless.
Yeah, he give you a run for his
Yeah, 2 stone in a day.
I used to add the toilet roll in the bathroom. Like, little toilet paper! Like that, so you used it all. Do you know what I mean? I did from him, like, you know.
What was his? So was the job then when you went out there to do his palace in Baghdad?
Yeah. So I was there to sort of in charge of the decorating. You know, well, there's only 2 of us really at the start, so I was in charge of the 2 of us, and it got bigger and bigger. And then at the end there was about sort of 9 of us. There was 9 decorators.
How does Saddam Hussein go about getting a few Scouse lads to paint the palace?
So he just got this company in, this London company who done all the palaces all around the Middle East. You know, so they got the job to there, so the decorating. So what happens is when they got a decorating job, they just put the name out. You know, say they called me, say, listen, we need the palace doing. You're interested? No. Pass it on to this fella. So I give all the names in. So we're in a big, like a family. So one would get the call and call us all up. You know, so we'd all end up there, and we all know what's going on and everything, like, you know. So this time I got the shout, like, you know. So then I got all my mates out there. So when it all like sort of sets up and everything, they're all going, friggin' hell, it's your fault. And everything. Bloody go in the country. You know what I mean? Oh.
What? Obviously, this is before, you know, Saddam Hussein is the Saddam Hussein that we know today, but how old are you sort of landing over in Baghdad?
When I was there, I was 24. 24, 23, 24. So I was only young. You know what I mean? But like, I knew it by then. I was doing my job and everything, like. And I could do it with my eyes closed, and then we just got on with it. You know?
When you land in Baghdad to obviously do his palace, are you told anything like about him, or like, you know?
I'd looked into it, and then my mother actually phoned up the foreign office and said, "What's he like?" Right.
Top fella, you want to talk to him?
What she said? What's Saddam like?
That's my mother. Do you know what I mean? She'd just phone anyone up. The foreign office, what's he like? He's alright, isn't he? Yeah. So that's all right, you can go now. You know, so that was it.
Your mum said, "Oh, that's nice."
And I got there, it's all right. My mother said it's all right.
Yeah.
So
Where's Saddam? My mum said he's lovely.
You know,
So
mother's case.
you turn up in Baghdad. I mean, what is that like? I mean,
When you land there and you see all the gun turrets and the machine guns there, you think, freaking hell, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? And then there's all like guards everywhere and everything. You're thinking, bloody hell. Do you know what I mean? So then you just get to the hotel. So the first thing you had to do when you got in the car, you had to have an AIDS test.
yeah.
Right? Good on him, like, you know, he didn't want anyone with bloody AIDS in the country. Like, you know. So you had to get an AIDS test and you had to go and get a blood test like that. And I thought, oh, not very good with blood. Do you know what I mean? So then the three of us that landed had to go straight to the hospital to get this blood test. So he said, go get your blood test and come back to the job and I'll show you around, like that. So we went in. So the worst hospital you can imagine. Well, that's like a bloody workshop really. And this hospital and this fella come in, took your blood like that. So then my mate got done first and his arm come up like that, like, you know, like that. And then my mate started being sick, looking at his arm coming up. And then there was blood going everywhere, and then I fainted like that. So the three of us had to go to the hotel room being sick, and we hadn't even really just landed in the bloody place, like, you know. And the boss went, "How many of you, officer? You didn't have a bloody blood test." And the three of us was bloody back to the hotel. So the next day, then we started, like, you know, like that. So we were all right. Bloody wimp.
And the palace, like when you get to see it, I mean, obviously you've already at this point worked in some pretty grand venues. I mean, was it as grand as you can imagine?
It was nice. It wasn't the best one I've been in. The ones in Oman, they were better. You know, but this one was huge. You know, it was massive. It's right on the edge of the Tigris. You know, and it was big because I think he had 9 palaces. I think he had 9 all around in Baghdad and everywhere, like, you know. But this was the biggest one that he was built. He's been building this for 6 years. Massive. And he had the big gardens outside as well. With a big copper roof. He had a big copper roof over it. And like gardens to walk around and everything. But it was massive. A big dome when you went in. Massive dome, like, you know. All hand carved by the Tunisians. They were up there for 6 months carving it.
Yeah,
They put the plaster on wet and then they carve all the design and really good.
yeah.
The chandelier was as big as 2 houses. It was massive. You know.
With people like that, are you like, I'm guessing it's a different time, but do you like security sort of round, like security briefings for yous, or yous just plonked in and said like go and do your job?
There was none of that at the time because there wasn't a threat going on.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't till August when he went in. That, apart from, that was great. You know, nothing went on. Didn't feel threatened at all. You know, but that's the next thing. When he went into Kuwait, a couple of weeks before, he started threatening Kuwait in the newspaper. And I'm like phoning my mother up because she knows everything. So I said, "Have you heard anything that's going on here?" Like, you know, she went, "No, it's all fine." You know, put my half fella on. So I said to my half fella, "Have you heard anything going on?" He's going, "No, it's all fine." Like, that's something's going down. You know what I mean? I said, "I don't care what you say, something's going down here," like that. And he's going, "No, it's all fine." He said, "I'm watching the BBC News, nothing's going on." I went, all right. So then, when he went in, phoned me after up and told you. Like that, and he went, "Bloody hell, you're right, aren't you?" And then my mother's on the phone going, "Oh, what are you going to do now?" I said, "I can't do nothing." You know what I mean? It's stuck here now. Do you know what I mean? It's your fault. You can up earlier.
I've just got this vision of you going, you know, Saddam Hussein's on the brink of invading Kuwait, and you're going, "What do you think of it? You know, Mum, is anything going on there or what?"
I thought you said he was sound.
So then I actually faxed the Liverpool Echo, the threatening letters in the thing to the Echo. Do you know what I mean? Like that. And I phoned up the Echo to see if they knew anything, because my mum and dad didn't. Like that. And I phoned them. I said, "Do you know what's going on?" "No, don't know what's going on." Like that. So then when he went into Kuwait, they're phoning me up every 5 minutes, the Echo. Do you know what I mean? Get in touch with me. Yeah.
You want to know now?
Give you the information first, like, you know.
Got the scoop.
Yeah. You know, just before we go into that more, at that point, had you met Saddam?
Yeah, a couple of times, yeah, walking around, yeah. The first time he come in, he sent his double in first.
He had a double?
He had a double, yeah. And he come walking around like that. And the Filipinos that we had working with us going, that's Saddam. And I'm going, that's not Saddam now. That's not him. That's not. I said, hey, he's only got 2 fellas with machine guns. And he's just walking around. I said, that's not him. And he goes, it is like that. And then it's not. So he just walked around like, we're going low. 2 days later, comes in again. This is the real one this time. There's about 30 machine guns and guards coming in. I went, that's the real one. I said, you could tell he was a little bit smaller. Do you know what I mean? But he looked spot on.
What he sent like a double in for just like on a little, just like a recce? Yeah.
A recce to make sure that, we didn't swat him with a paintbrush.
I was sniffing it.
Smell that wet. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. Do you know what I mean?
Fucking covered.
I was talking about this the other day. Have you ever had a what if moment?
Yeah, plenty.
Have you ever had that? Alright, what if this happens? Alright, so I'm on a scaffold and there's holes in the scaffold that big. Alright, if you took the brush, it wouldn't go through. Do you know what I mean? That big, like, So underneath me is the president of Oman in his brand new white dish dash. Like that, and I've got this brush full of green paint, right, bright Kermit the green paint, like I'm putting on the ceiling, like that. And I thought, what if I drop this now? It'd probably land on his head or something like that. And my hand went, it opens, and the brush slow motion went like that, straight through this frigging. Alright, straight down and went splat on the floor right by his feet. He went, and I'm going, freaking hell, I'm there, like, and I go, sorry, and he's like, oh, do you know what I mean? Oh, it just bang right down his hole, like, like that.
Oh,
I'm dead.
That's it.
I'm dead. Do you know what I mean? I was thinking, how's one of these doing that when I'm out in Baghdad, Freaking hell.
What did nothing happened, did it? No, were they alright?
No, he was alright, but it just landed at his feet, like,
Can it be hit him on the head? I reckon it'd be a different story.
It would have got him on the head. I think the what if was helping me out here. I just went that side of him, like, like that.
Mate,
unbelievable.
When Saddam's walk, so you see him walking around and that, and did you ever actually get to speak to him and meet him properly, or?
Later on I did when it was going a bit behind the palace and things like that. And then there was one time where he'd come into the room just normally, like, and all the Filipinos like sort of, doing the bowing bits, like, and I didn't. And this fella just come up with his gun, his like machine gun. He was like that to me, like that, and I'm like, go ahead then, big fella. Do you know what I mean? Because I was bigger than them, they're only little. Well, go ahead then, big fella. Blah, blah, blah. And then Saddam said something to him, and then he backed off. Do you know what I mean? And he must have said, oh, you freaking Scouser, leave him.
We don't want that asshole.
Freaking going near him, like,
That's just because you wouldn't get in line and bow?
Bow to him.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Or like you respected that, you think, like?
Yeah, whatever. I don't know if you can speak a little bit of English, like, but there's a few coarse words there. You know what I mean? You don't give a shit when the adrenaline's going, do you?
No.
Like, you don't.
They're not bowing things, that's just your, like, your own personal, but you're just like, I'm not bowing to no human being.
No.
I respect that.
No, I wouldn't even do it to Charlie if I had to. You know what I mean? Hey, scallops, come here. Courtesy to you, whatever you have to do.
No, but I think that's just like, I know we do big up Liverpool and being Scousers, but I don't care what anyone says. No one else in the country could have that moment like a Scouser would, do you know what I mean? Just say,
machine gun in his face with Saddam Hussein.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, big fella.
Yeah, tell you bits.
I love it.
So, you're doing his palace. What did he want doing?
So,
like for your job?
Yeah, we were doing everything there, putting the silk on the walls. We had silk, the big cinema, doing the cinema and all the bedrooms, the guest bedrooms and all that, like, But we had the problem when he went into Q8, everything stopped. We couldn't get any more materials, and some of the materials that were coming over were knackered. The heat had affected the glue that had stuck the silk to the paper. I was like bloody brown patches on it and everything was knackered. Do you know what I mean? So we ended up putting the silk up and some of them painting over it, just to make it like uniforms, get these blobs. So we done the best that we could with the materials that we had, and we got it 90% finished, you know, apart from bits that we just couldn't do. But they were trying to source materials in Iraq and just didn't have nothing. Like, you know, they didn't even know what plasterboard was when they first went over there.
So, you know, I'm just trying to get the timescale of events then. So in fact, before I do that, what was like the social aspect of like, actually before we go into when Saddam starts threatening Kuwaitis, what was your time like, your social side of things?
So, social side, we had like the main contractor had a drinking club, because you can drink there. You know, it's not a dry country or nothing. You know, there's strip clubs and everything. You know, it is like a westernised. It is quite westernised, and there's loads of bars everywhere and things. And it was 7p for a pint of, well, for a litre of lager. It was nothing. You know, so what you had to do was you had to sort of, because there was loads of parties going on everywhere. Like, you know, you had to be in a party syndicate, right? If you had a party, you were invited to all the parties, like, you know. So I do like a party, and I like sort of, you know, meet people. It's sociable, not like a party. It's a sociable gathering.
A people person.
That sounds better than party.
That'll piss up,
I'm a sociable gatherer. That sounds better, doesn't it? So I decided to have a party, and I had it on the 12th floor of the Sheraton Hotel. All right, and I had it for 300 people. I had beer for everyone, beer and drinks, and a full buffet, DJ, everything for the night, everything, all waiter service, everything free, and everyone turned up, and it was a really good party, and all that. It cost me 120 quid. the whole lot. So what happens? Have you ever heard of the black market for money? All right, I've never worked it out. How it works out, it's still all right. So if I had 50 quid in English money there and went to the bank, all right, I'd get 25, I think it was dinars, 25 dinars, Iraqi dinars. All right, so it's £2 English for one of theirs.
Yeah.
All right, but for that 50 quid, if I changed it to a $100 bill, all right, for that $100 bill, I'd get 1,200 Iraqi dinars. All right, which is 2,400 quid for a $100 bill, which is a 50 quid. Yeah. Because they wanted these American dollars.
They wanted the dollars.
Wow.
You know, for the black market. So for that 2,400 quid, you can have the best party ever with 50 quid.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
That's mad, that, isn't it?
But the money you get, and then so when I was there, I started getting to know this Iraqi fella, dead nice fella, and after a bit, making sure he wasn't like secret police, because there's loads of secret police, and you weren't supposed to change the money like that.
It's money laundering, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. So I got the best rate off him. Do you know what I mean? And I'd have a laugh with him and everything. So he got to know me, and I got to know him and everything. Took me down to meet his family and everything. Dead nice and everything. And he'd make a little bit of money on my money, like, you know, like that. So where the rate was like sort of, say it was like 12, so 12, he'd give me 14, 2 above everything, you know. So that everyone used to come to me every week. Listen, I need money changing. Do you know what I mean? Well, we are alright.
Middleman.
So this one time, and then it went up to 16, alright, which is the highest. I used to change it for the BBC and everything. Oh yeah. Right. So then this one time I said to him, come round, I need some money changing. He went, yeah. So he says, how much do you need changing? I went, $1,400, like, you know. And he went, how many? I said, 1,400, like that. And he went, all right, yeah. I'll get me mates to come around. And he turned up with 6, remember them big head bags like that?
Yeah.
All right, 6 of them full of money. Do you know what I mean? And I had a picture of myself somewhere covered in money, just like that, laying on the bed, covered in like that. And in the end, I said, I'm not counting all this. Do you know what I mean? So we just like got on the floor, and I went, right, that'll do. Just split it with my hands and put it in bags, and I'd say, there's your money. Do you know what I mean? They give him a big carrier bag full of money for it. 50
Unbelievable.
Quid. You know?
It's madness, isn't it?
Yeah. Different world, innit? That.
And who are you partying with? Though you say like 300 people each. Who are you, like, what is it? Other workers? Are you getting to meet other people in Iraq?
Yeah, there was workers, and then the embassy staff as well. All the the British Embassy, the American Embassy, everything, all the staff, all having parties and everything. And it was like, there was 400 Irish nurses there. I spoke to a couple of them.
Yeah, lovely women.
Anyway, yeah, so...
It's like this... Like, oh yeah, it's like this little world you were living in, within a world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about like the money and, you know, the social aspect of it. You know, if you're telling people back at home about this, they must have been like, not a chance. Like, you're over there living the best life you've ever heard of, and we're back in Liverpool.
And it was, you just couldn't spend your money. It was great. And we used to go into work just to have a sleep. Because we'd get in about bloody 5 o'clock in the morning. We'd just get in and he'd have a cup of coffee and think, oh, I want to sleep now, I won't get up. You know, so you just get changed for work, go to work, try and find a cardboard box somewhere and fall asleep. You know.
Are you on decent money over there as well?
It was about, I think it was about 350 quid a week then. It's probably a lot of money.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, in the 90s, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably about 1,000 quid now, isn't it? But yeah.
And
So that was all right.
7p a pint on a grand a week.
Yeah, so what was, well, I'm telling you, dangerous that. So when he decides to start invading Kuwait, and then that obviously leads to, obviously, the UK and America getting involved, what's like, where's the changing point for you from like, you know, this is really fun and we're working to, you know,
It was
shit.
about a week after he invaded. Do you know what I mean? Everything was just the same. But then he started saying, like, you know, no one can get out. So then that's officially we become hostages then. You know, wasn't letting anyone out. And then he started bringing the people up from Kuwait then. Do you know, and to put them in military installations around Baghdad. So no one would bomb them.
Yeah.
You know, so we had like women and children coming to our hotel.
Is that the human, the sort of human shield thing you did? Yeah.
They were coming to our hotel and they'd been in this coach for like sort of 12 hours, a hot, stinky coach, and then just dumped in our hotel till they decided. So then we'd say, yeah, go up to our room, get a shower and all that, just help yourself. And then we'd look after the kids and everything, keep them all happy and everything. And I'd try and stop these freaking women from freaking out.
Yeah.
They didn't know where they were going. We're trying to say, listen, you got to be alright, don't we? You know, but everyone was.
What were the threats then? You know, you're saying in the weeks leading up to the invasion. What was he saying to the Kuwaitis?
Because they'd lent him money to fight for the Iran-Iraq war. They'd lent him money at a stupid rate at like 0% or something like that. And then they said, like, you know, well, we want money back plus interest and thing. And they go, hold on a minute, no. I've let you drill a little bit of oil on my side here as a bit of a, you know...
Thank you.
Yeah, and, you know, get on with it, whatever. Oh no, we want more. And he said, if you don't take it back, I'm going to freaking invade you. So next minute, you can see all these tanks going. That's what I'm saying to my dad. If they're going on with all these tanks going down south on the trains, everywhere, like, you know. And then nothing was going on at home. And then when he went in, I think it was the 4th or the 6th of August, like that, he went in. And that's it, then all the Iraqis had the car doors open, the news were on, all like that. Oh, what's going on now? Do you know what I mean? When he'd invaded Kuwait, like. And then all the stuff started coming up. Oh, it was great. Jeans. I got a pair of jeans for 50 feet. Yeah. So the thing you want, or the Levi's one.
Yeah.
50p. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, how do I get these home?
Yeah, we can kill him.
You can't just go home with jeans like that. Like, you know, we're buying everything chocolate. You get chocolate. So there must have been a Cadbury's factory down there that they walloped. And then all the cop cars. They got all the new cop cars. Then nicked all the cop cars down there. All the coppers are like that. Whoa, look at that! All the cop cars nicked cop cars. You know,
crazy.
So are you still living in a hotel and going to work every day in the palace whilst the invasion's going on?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
We had to keep working. At one stage we said, right, when they started cutting down, stopping the country, they stopped paying our company. And the company said to us, right, you're not getting paid. So you don't tell 9 Scousers they're not getting paid. They don't care what you say. Do you know what I mean? I said, that's fair enough. I said, right, come on. I was like a shop steward then. Right, out! Everyone out! Everyone out! So we're just going back to the hotel, what for? So we're just going to get pissed. And that was it. So we went back to the hotel and said, look, they're not paying us now. So basically we're being sacked. You know, but they still want us to work. I went, nah, that doesn't sound right, that does it? You know, so we went back to the hotel and we stayed there for about 2 weeks. But then we started getting threatening letters off the Iraqis saying, like, if you don't come back to work, you're going to start going to military installations then.
I was like, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So then, I had my mother on the phone then. You get back to work, you get back. I went, no. Do you know what I mean? I was one of the last ones to go back. You know, out of everyone, like, you know. So I filtered back and then I said, I'm not bringing my decorating tools in, I'll do anything apart from sort of painting. So I was doing casting ceilings, putting ceilings up and things like that, and joinery. And
at that point, is that you just sort of keeping the peace and making sure, you know, you don't end up in as like basically as a human shield for this war?
Yeah. And then later on they said to us, right, we can't afford to pay the hotel bill now. And I'm going, oh, this is getting better, this. I mean, we're going to have to move you out the hotel. I said, so what's happening now? She said, right, we're going to rent a villa for you and we're going to show you it this afternoon. I said, oh, this is all quick. Don't even negotiate or nothing. You're going to have to get out by the end of the week. There. So he took us to this villa in the middle of freaking nowhere. Shithole. That's it. And it was like do you know one of these prison beds? It was like that. It was just a shithole. This house hadn't been lived in for years, like, you know. He said, oh, we're renting this out. So like that. I said, so what? I said, it needs paint, decorating, it needs everything. You know, he said, look, just take a few bits out the palace and do it. And then we'll get you new beds and then you'll be alright here. Like that. I said, this is only like for sort of 6 of us. What about everyone else? She said, well, finding them places and everything, like, you know. I said, alright, so he gives us the keys, so I'm there with the joiner. And I went, who's going to cook? Are you going to cook? And he's going, I'm not going to cook. Well, I'm not going to cook. So, don't need a kitchen. So, fucking rip that out. Get rid of that. I said, we may as well just build a bar. Do you like that? So he says, yeah, alright. So we just had 6 beds upstairs, and we started painting it. So we went to the palace. Right? We went to the palace, and I said to the boss, "We've got to get some stuff." He said, "Just take the van, take what you want, like, you know that." So all right, yeah. We got all the paint, took all the paint out, and we were just taking bits out. And he said, "Just take what we want." He said, didn't he? And I went, "Yeah." So we nicked the reception table from there. That become the bar and DJ booth. Right? We put a bar in, DJ booth, right? And then I come back with some other gear, and the lad had knocked through to the garage, and he went, "Don't need the garage, makes the room bigger." All right, he says, "We're making a club." Right? So we built a nightclub at the bottom of this villa. All right, and but we called it the Pit. All right. So we come back with everything. We had silk, we had marble, we had chairs, everything. Just took it up the palace. And we're driving towards the gate, and this guard went like that. All machine gunned up like that. And I thought, oh, we're dead. Do you know what I mean? Got all this furniture in and everything like that. And he's like looking at the back, and I went, "Do you speak English?" Like that. And he goes, "Anyone speak English?" He's going, "No." And I went, "We're fucking nicking this, mate." Every bit of this, we're fucking nicking it like that. And he's going, "Shut up." I said, "We're fucking nicking this, mate, because we built a club." And he's fucking furnishing it like that. And he's like looking at me, he's going, fucking waving me up like that. And my mate's going, "Oh, fucking dad. You know what I mean? Like that. So we done all this club up, like, you know, marble bar, everything. Silk hanging from the ceilings, everything that we'd fucking nicked, so like that. And it looked nice, looked great, like, you know. And we had the sound check and all that, like, you know. So then I said, right, we're going to have a fucking big party here for opening this, like, you know. So we said to the boss, we've done the villa up and everything. She said, "Oh, so when are you moving in?" Like that. I said, we'll move in sort of Saturday. I said, we're just going to have like a little bit of a housewarming, do you like that, on Friday night, because that was like the night Friday. We're going to have a little housewarming Friday, and then we'll move in the weekend, like, you know. He said, "Yeah." I said, "You going to come?" Like that. I said, "He still might pop up, yeah," like that. So he's turned up. So I've got by then, I've got 3 of the guards on the door from the palace. 3 armed guards on the door from the palace. You know what I mean? Like that. Standing there like that. So I had 300 people in there. Proper rave going on. So like that. And he's coming, he's going like that. Where the freaking hell did you get that? Where'd you get that? And at this joint is going, I made that. Like that. And he went, where did that? I went for my dinner and I come back and it's gone. I said, well, it's gone here now. It's like that. And he's going, right, you got to take it back. And I go, we're not going back. Staying here now. Like, you know. So we had parties for about a week. And then he said, right, now, move back into the hotel.
Too much hassle.
Coming into work now. He said, they're all blooded. Just permanently using this the club that we built, like, you know. It was great.
Mate, that perspective of it is just so good to see, because obviously when you get told, you know, they're invading this, the picture in your head's like, you know, desert, you know, no one around, everyone's scared and stuff, but the reality of you is just in a villa
just
on
having a big
great
party,
time.
Everyone was still partying then, like, you know. And you know, you just put it on the social side, on the, you know, the chat thing that they had. The internet wasn't around then and things like that. You get like letters to your post box where the party was that night. Do you know what I mean? They must have had like just drivers going around dropping invitations.
Party invites.
Yeah. So there's just like one fella done all the party. When you're having a party, I'll put the invites out. So everyone will get the invites, you know. It's good how it worked, like, you know. So then all these invites, just good. And then my mother phoned up again, like, you know. She went, you sober? So that. She went, I've tried to phone you up twice. Just get this mumbling. So I said, yeah, I'm all right now, like, you know.
And
so,
when all this is going on, you're having a great time. What's happening in real life, if you like? You know, it's Saddam and I mean, what's going on there?
So,
because you're not scared thinking we're working in this palace and we could get fucking bombed any minute or something.
Well, we had the World Service on, all right. Now that was the worst thing to do. Have the World Service on the news. So depressing. They were saying like, oh, the Americans are getting ready, they're going to bomb you and all this, like, you know. And I'm thinking, and it freaks some of the fellas out. Do you know what I mean? So we're in the bar in the hotel, we ended up with cracking up monsters and party monsters. All right. So the ones that were cracking up, we say, yeah, you go sit over there and talk about the world's going to end, and then at the party monsters over there just having a laugh, you know. So sitting over there and think, you just go up, just drop a book, you know,
it's like fucking, it's like the world today, yeah.
It's like the world now, isn't it?
It's just doing our heads in, like, you know. So and you know, it was hard, but, you know, when he'd sort of he'd gone into Kuwait, the Iraqis were a bit nervous and all that. When the stuff was coming up and they were getting a little bit, oh, this is alright, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And then it started going downhill then when the Americans said, and then I think it was the 4th of September, they had this day when, I think it was the 4th or something like that, when they had the finishing of the Iran-Iraq war. 4 o'clock in the morning, all these anti-aircraft guns went off, and everyone proper, even me, do you know what I mean? Everyone shit themselves, thought, this is it, we're going to get bombed today. But all the Iraqis are out in the street going like that, and it's just about, like, you know, I was celebrating the end of the war, like, you know. Freaking hell. And then, after that, Iraq started talking to Iran, trying to get them on their side. So what they started doing was swapping prisoners, because they still had prisoners from the war from years ago. So they started swapping prisoners. So we're in the bar, and then they'd have this coach come on, and all these people got off the coach, and the bar staff were all watching like that. Next minute, fucking bar, the woman, fucking fainted. So we went around, picked her up and all that like that. And you're alright, she went, just seen my husband get off the coach.
Oh really? Being a good prison?
Oh, made up for you and all that. She went, no, I've married again, I've got a kid. I'm like that, oh, you're fucked.
Leave that.
Yeah.
Jeremy Kyle.
Yeah. Because like, there were like, there's loads of Christians over there and everything, like, you know, it wasn't just like Muslims. You know, and they thought he was dead, no communication. He just got off the number 10. It's time, love. You know what I what I mean? You know, it's like an happy hour. It's like one of them moments, like, you know.
You're fucking a whale just caving in on top of it.
Yeah. So, like, you know, sort of, yeah. So, I felt sorry for her, like, but then he was swapping all the prisoners around and everything. But I don't think that helped his cause. Iran didn't get on his side or nothing there,
No.
like, you know. But he probably just needed more soldiers then, that's that. Hey, back now, get on the front line again, like, you know.
Obviously, you're saying, like, they said, right, you're not going anywhere, you're not leaving this country. How long is that before, you know, you start thinking, like, I need to sort of, you know, I need to get home?
So, halfway through, I was chatting to a fella that I knew. He works for the waterways, like the water board. All right, and he went, if you want to get out, I'll get you out. You know what I mean? And I want to get out the country. If you want to get out, like, you know. So I talked to a couple of lads, and then one of the lads said, I need to get out. So I said, well, if you're going, I'll go with you. You know, so I said to this fella, I said, right, we're going to go. He said, okay. He said, yeah, and he drawn us this map. He said, right, go to this place, park your car there. There's a boat. Get in the boat and head down the river. And when you see this big red triangle, pull in there.
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing every time you tell the story. So he's going to go anywhere.
Anticipating.
Alright, so this is a true story, like, not a funny one, like, you know. So he said, when you see this big red triangle, then go over the border then. And then there's no guards there. You can get out. Do you know what I mean? So I said, sound. So I said to the lads, when are we going to go? So we'll go on the Saturday. Sound. So I'm all like, I never said anything to the family or nothing, like, you know. And the three of us were going to go. Great. Unbeknown to me, they went the day before. Thought, well, we're single. He's not. We'll make sure it's all right. But then they've gone down in this boat, seen some guards, kept on going. Never went to the red triangle and thought, there's the border there, there's no one there. Got off the boat, went over the border, fucking great. They were waiting over the other side of the border.
Oh my God.
For them.
Fucking hell.
So they got nabbed and taken to prison.
Fucking
Do you know
hell.
what I mean? So it wasn't like 2 days later, we would call, like, so we've got two of your lads from the palace in prison.
Fuck.
What, like basically an indefinite term? Like
For trying to escape.
Yeah.
You know. So then I went in to see them, like, you know, oh, that was freaking. You had to sort of haggle your way in with a chicken. Do you know what I mean? Because the food they were getting was crap. So I used to go in before chickens, and by the time I get through, I'd end up with about one. The guards would say, yeah, come here, take a chicken leg and things like that. Rip it to it. So I'd end up with about a chicken for two of them. You know, I brought you the chicken. And
Are these two Scouse lads as well, are they? Or?
No, one was from Scotland, and the other one was from London. You know, but then sort of we started when we were in the palace, just having a word with Saddam's number 2. Then I said, listen, bit of a mix-up really. These two have just thought it was all right just to walk out, and he went, oh. We said, I'll have a word. So give us his name. So we give them the names to him, like, you know. And he had the word, and he got them out after about sort of 4 weeks of being in the Nick. And they were all traumatised and everything, like, you know.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, because I was thinking that, like, at what point does it become, like, obviously things like that, but at what point does it become this, like, you know, sort of like this cool adventure, like, you know, getting to live this sort of life to the point where it's like becoming dangerous?
So then we had like meetings with the firm saying, right, this is the score. If it does start going bombs and everything, you've got a car, and we're going to have a meeting place then, where to go, how to get out to the border and things like that, where to drive to, things like that. We all had to keep our petrol tanks filled up and ready to go just in case, and then we knew where to go. So we had a bit of an exit plan, if that. So we didn't need to use, which is good, like, you know. But while everyone was there was nowhere that got bombed or nothing. That was all after everyone had got out. You know, all the hostages from Kuwait and everything. They started bombing it when there was no one there then.
What's the day when you sort of learn that you are gonna get out and get home?
That's right, because like sort of Tony Benn come over there, and he sort of he heard about my plight and everything, and this other couple of lads. So we tried to get a bit of an audience with Saddam, and Saddam liked him, you know, So we'd come over there, couldn't get an audience with him because he was a bit busy.
A few things on his plate, like.
Doing something, like, you know, so he wouldn't let, and then when he was going out, he said, right, you take 3 people with you. So we put mine on, and I'm like that. Oh, fucking hell, I got a party to go to tonight. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so 3 of us went.
So Tony Benn got you out?
Yeah. So then, I didn't want to go because, like, I was the first one out there, and I was like one of the first ones out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I sort of left all my mates there, and I'm like, oh, that. So then I was having a word with Tony Benn. He said, look, I reckon he'll be out in a week, and it was a week after they were all out, getting out, like, you know.
And at this point, are you still working in the Palace, or are you just kind of like?
They were all still working.
You're still working, yeah.
I was going to say, that was the job.
Working
Was
us to the death.
Yeah.
But the job was done, and we couldn't do any more. It was just like possing about, really, like, you know. There's nothing else we could do.
And is it like the UK that gets you all out? Is it something in the end? Is it or like what?
In the end, they just give the extra visas out. They open the visa place, so right, you can go home now. And everyone had a sharp exit, like, you know.
Yeah, you're a funny guy, and like, obviously it's a great sort of, you know, story for us to reflect on. Now, when you land back in England, do you look back on it with any sort of, like, I don't reckon trauma's the right word, but do you know what I mean? Like, something like, yeah, something really.
Being back.
Because how long had you done out there?
6 months I was there.
So it's a big stint, isn't it?
It was weird coming back and, like, sort of trying to keep off the beer then. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, everyone was like bloody alcoholics. You know, I could drink gin and, well, not gin, it was brandy and vodka. I could drink that, it wouldn't even touch me. You know, so when I started, like, drinking a bottle, I thought, oh, this isn't like this. So, lucky enough, I've got good willpower and everything. I just stopped. So that's it. Stopped it. Then, like, you know, I just started to try and get back to normality, like, you know. But I just couldn't sort of. It was hard getting back to the wife thing and all that, like, you know. So we ended up splitting up. You know, splitting up with her, like, you know. Yeah, that was hard at the start, but that, you know, it was alright in the end. So we're still friends and all that.
It's like, we did a podcast about Andy's life and the similarities of, like, you know, we have said this a couple of times, this world within the world that you're living in, and then you drop back into civilian life, you know, where, you know, people are going to work and, you know, you can't just go to the bar whenever you want and stuff like that. I mean, although you probably didn't get any support from it jumping in, it's still a, you know, very significant thing that you've gone through. And, you know, how do you deal with sort of getting back into civilian
life? Yeah.
It was hard. You know, it was hard, and you think, I'll just get up and get to work, like, you know. But it wasn't for about like 3 weeks I started, like, going back into work. And I'm thinking, what is this place? You know, what am I doing here? I shouldn't be here, like, you know. Because I've been used to being over there then, like, you know. And it was hard. So then I sort of tried to get away again. I thought, oh, I'll have to go to London. So I went to London and done a bit of work in London. Just to, like, sort of clear my head a bit. You know. Just to, like, sort of be on my own. Which I did, because, you know, like some of the times you were on your own over there. You know, but it does take a bit. What about you? Did it take you a bit to get back to it?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, when I got back from Iraq, I remember my half father had to pull me once because I wasn't. I had a dead chilled out time in Iraq, but I had friends who'd been killed out there and stuff. And I remember it was just before Christmas and everyone's, you know, shooting around, getting the shopping in and stuff. And I was like, there's a fucking war going on out there and no one gives a fuck. And my dad had to kind of grip me and say, look, mate, you know, people have got their own worries around here. You know, we're in Bootle, people have got mortgages to pay, you know, toys to put on the, you know, under the Christmas tree. You know, you chose to go out there. That's, you know, you've seen what you've seen and you've put that to bed. And then even after I got injured in Afghan, I kind of just missed it was a bit like you said before as well, when you said it was all right for the first bit. For the first, like, 6 weeks, it was great. We'd having a fight with the Taliban. As dramatic as it sounds, you'd wake up, go for a big firefight, you'd come back, have a shower, clean your weapon and all that, then watch DVDs and play cards, and the rest of the day was great. But then in the end, friends started getting hurt and getting killed, but then you're all in this world within the world and stuff, and then to come back and get used to normal life again. And I struggled with drink and gambling for a bit because I was just chasing a high, you know, and it was, normal life was just like, this is fucking shit. Oh, I go for a pint on a Sunday and at 6 o'clock, everyone's like, right, I'm in work tomorrow. I'm like, well, I'm fucking not. So you carry on drinking more, and you know, and so yeah, I fucking get it, mate. Yeah, it's difficult to come back, and that's why a lot of veterans do struggle as well.
Yeah.
I think the struggle probably, you know, from, you know, the outside looking in on yours is you've had such a unique experience. Like, there's a handful of you that have been sort of in and experienced what you've experienced in terms of working in the palace and being as close to, you know, the initial invasion and stuff as you was. I guess there's no one to speak to apart from the lad you were with, is there? There's no one who really understands where you're coming from.
And when we come back, we were all sort of sick of each other by then. So we'd sort of, no one got in touch with anyone. You know, we're all just like sort of went our own way then, like, you know. So so when I got like sort of, it was only about 7 years ago, I had this palace to do out in Saudi, like, you know, and I didn't get in touch with one of them.
Really?
The other lads that we had there, because I thought, I can't say I've got another palace job here.
Not again.
Yeah.
Do you still speak to them now then, or?
Yeah.
You speak now?
Yeah, speak to them now, like, you know. It's been like 20, I think it's 27 odd years now.
So how does life then, like work-wise, then continue? I mean, are you like, is there a bit of you that's thinking, I need a new line of work now? Are you thinking, get me the next palace, get me the next...
I'm just waiting for someone to say, what was the last job you were on? I don't want to go into that.
So like, I've been, the last few years, I've been writing down all the stories, all the funny bits. Because there is a lot of funny bits over there. Like,
I can imagine, yeah.
You have 9 Scousers over there, like, do you know what I mean? We get interviewed one day, like, you know, and we come in from a party, like, I think it was like TVAM or something like that, and he said to us, when you go back to England, what memories are you going to take back from Baghdad? What are you going to take back with you, like that? And my mate looks at the camera and he goes, cauliflowers, 6 for £1. Where did you get them? You can't get that in England. Cauliflower, I'm going to take loads of them back in a minute. Cut. That was it, like, no more Liverpool. I'm not going to interview any more from Liverpool now. Like.
A funny story I had from Iraq. We were guarding. I was on an Iraqi Navy camp, and we had to basically bodyguard them. And so there's a vehicle in the front and a vehicle at the back, and the guy we were bodyguarding was inside. So we're just all making sure no one comes out into the building. And I needed the toilet, so I went in the toilet. And the toilets out there, it's not a seat, is it? It's just a hole in the ground that you squat over.
2 foot marks.
And so I was standing these 2 foot marks and do a shit, but there was nothing to like flush the chain or nothing. And obviously there's a whole thing, but there's a pan bit. And I just can do this big shit, and it's just there. And I'm like, I don't know how you meant for it to go away. Do you know what I mean? And anyway, like, and so I've had this fucking, I'm standing there thinking, how the fuck do I get this to go? And the meeting finishes, and all these fucking military officials come out into the fucking bathroom, and I'm just walking out, and there's this big log just sitting there, and I'm like, I just fucking run out and sit in the vehicle waiting for the band we were looking after. It's bad, you know.
Yeah, we were doing Saddam's bedroom, and we were just putting the silk up behind his bed. And my mate is a bit of a caricature.
Yeah.
You could do all that. I said, yeah, do us a favour, do this. So, done a picture of Saddam on the back of a sheet, like that, with his smile, dead funny, and we papered over it quick. Do you know what I mean, like that? So no one will see that now for years and years, like that, like, you know. So we just, like, and we unlocked the door, and then we went for our dinner, and we were sitting down there having our dinner, like, you know. And then I went into him later on, like, I went, Jimmy, he said, what? He went, what? I went, that pen's come through the paper. It's come through, you could see it. And he goes, we're dead.
We're dead.
No, I'm messing.
The best thing is the amount of reactions you've had on your trip, and the reaction is, oh shit, I'm dead.
Yeah, because the second there's one fuck up, it's like, you're taking it with Saddam Hussein, aren't you?
Obviously, in recent times, your story was adapted to it was a play, right?
That's right. Yeah. I got back, and I was a few years back. I was just talking to someone in a pub, and he said, "Oh yeah, I do plays and all that." So I told him my story like that, and he went, "Do you know what? That'd be a great play." Like that. So, and then every time I see him, he goes, "You're doing it. You're doing it." I'm going, "No." Then one day I just said, "Right, let's do this," you know, and we've done it. So it's gone strong. We called it more Scouse Saddam, and Yeah, and it was good, and it was the funny stories there, like, you know.
Mm.
And yeah, it went good, like, you know. There's a few scenes that we done that I thought was funny, but he was like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So we sort of took them out.
Or a bit close to the line, like, or?
There was. He said it's hard to work it in. It's when I got Farmer Giles. Do you know when you get them? When you go in the toilet too much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right, you get one of them, like, you know. So
Farmer Giles.
yeah, so
I've heard them called that before.
yeah, Farmer Giles. Yeah, so this doctor comes to see me in my room, like, you know. So he says, well, let's have a look, like, you know. So he's looking down my ear. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, how fucking deep do these things go? Do you know what I mean? So I'm starting to worry then. Do you like that? Like, I'm going, you know, speaking to him, and he couldn't understand a word I was saying, like, you know, and he says, let's have a look, like, you know. So he's having a look, like that. Then the fucking room partner comes in the room, doesn't he? The knobhead, that sharing with like that, and he's going, whoa, all right, see you later. And I'm going, no, come in like that. And he's going, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? So I tried to put that in the play, but it was hard to read it. To get it in, to have this fella looking up my arse, do you know what I mean? And looking down my ear.
How deep did he?
Yeah. So that I phoned my arm fella up and asked him, because he was a specialist in them. Do you know what I mean? Because he always had the bag of peas in the freezer, just when he sat on them when it made an appearance every now and then. So I asked him, I said, how deep do these go, Dad? What do you mean? I said, look down my friggin' ear. Do the roots go that far up? And he goes, don't bloody think so. You know what I mean? Like,
Why was he looking in your ear?
I don't know.
He didn't have a fucking...
Farmer Giles. And you go, yeah, let's have a look. Do you know what I mean?
He's a fucking receptionist, the sun just got sent up.
There's a mirror in the back of my head pointing down, like, you know.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Obviously, there's nothing in comparison to that, but even in the years that followed that, like, what are some of the funny jobs you've been on, and, you know, or places you've been?
My jobs are funny.
I can understand
I think we might have to do a part 2 of this with some other jobs, some of your best bits.
Yeah. Best bit. I've had loads of funny bits, you know, all around the years and all that, like, you know. It is funny, just leaving your mark every now and then.
Yeah.
And things. But yeah, if we have a part 2, I'll just make a note.
You'd have to make a note.
Yeah.
Mate, you got a fucking,
you know,
brilliant sense of humour, mate. It's
It's like a book, mate, to be honest.
Yeah.
Honestly,
well, that's it. Once we see, I've been told, because like it can make after a dead funny film.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm halfway through my book now, and then once my book's done, then I can tout it as a film. Then to get a film, but I need like a comedy writer. That's what I'm after, because like.
Oh, maybe we'll speak after this recording. I've got a couple of people, mate, that
do you know what I mean?
speak to.
I couldn't write a book, but I put it in my English, like, you know, no one would buy it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, would you use a ghostwriter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it'd have to be like sort of from someone from Liverpool, knowing the Scouse type.
You have to understand it, don't you? Yeah.
That it is like sort of the Hangover things. Do you know what I mean? Like one of them. You know, when you wake up, what are you doing last night? Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant, that.
There's loads of things like going into restaurants and saying that we're the England football team. Rolling shorts. They've just been out running. They go, "That's the English team, eh?" Like, just so gullible, the Iraqis, like, but like fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Well, we had you're saying about like some of the nice people, mate. I got to speak to loads of them, you know.
Yeah.
So to bring them together, like the hearts and minds, we used to bring, like, if we needed an electrician, we'd get an Iraqi electrician firm to come in, and we just have to like guard them basically, and they'd come in and like I got chatting to like the boss, and he got me like an Iraqi football kit and everything. We used to play 5-a-side with them.
Everyone got them, yeah.
They were brilliant, and you go and play 5-a-side with them, and for our security we'd have like loads of lads like on standby, and you're thinking, I'm having a game of 5-a-side, and there's like fucking 8 Marines on the football pitch with fucking machine guns, and you're playing 5-a-side, and it get a bit heated, and you'd be like, fucking hell, God, you got to remember where you are a little bit. Like, it was mad. Yeah.
When I was in Baghdad, they took this. We had this driver, and they used to drive us to the parties and to work and everything like that. And then one day he called us into the office and went, "Your driver?" And I went, "What?" He went, "Have you seen his timesheet for the other day?" He said, "He's got 26 hours in one day." And I went, 26? He said, "Yeah, 26 hours. Been working that freaking long, didn't know where he was." So he said, "So we're going to take the minibus off you now because you're sort of abusing it, like, you know." I went, "Whatever." Do you know what I mean? I said, we'll just get in later now. Do you know what I mean? So he said, well, we'll try it. I said, yeah, whatever, like that. So then, we never got the minibus then for about a week and a half, like, you know. So I said to the lad that was the knobhead that was sharing the room with, like, you know, I said to him, go and ask if we can have the van back for Friday, will you? He says, why? I said, we're going out camel riding. We're going out camel riding like that. He says, are we? He said, yeah, I booked it, like, you know. He said, these camels, they actually speak English. They're not Iraqi or anything, like, you know, they speak English like that. I said, you go forward, you know what they, oh yeah. So go and ask him if we can have the van like that. So he's got in, hasn't he? I said to him, can we have the minibus for Friday, please, because we want to go camel riding and all that. And he says, and they speak English, these camels, you know, like that. And she goes, oh, they speak friggin' English, do they? And all that. He said, no, you can't friggin' have it, get out.
Mate, I think that's my favourite bit, that knobhead I was sharing the room with.
So the things. And then you can go to markets there and buy, like, ducks. They have, like, live ducks over the shoulders, like, you know. So I knew he was in the bar, like, so I bought a live duck in the cardboard box, went up in the room, filled the bath up and put the duck in the bath. Alright, so the duck's up in there, put the bread in for it, like, you know, like that. So I went downstairs, like, you know, I said, where have you been? Shopping, you know, like that. So I said, wait till Knobhead goes to bed. I said, the phone will go, do you know what I mean? So he's gone upstairs like that, and then the phone went to the reception, like, oh, well, listen, he's going, duck. Like, you know, duck in my bath, there's a duck in the bath, like, you know, like, duck, like that. And the duck was running around the hotel all night, like, you know. Like, I saved the duck.
Like, what do you do for your kicks now then, mate, before we kind of wrap it up? I mean, what's your jobs?
I still wind everyone up. I just love winding people up. It's the wife. I wind the wife up quite a bit, like, you know, all the little things and bits and bobs, like, you know. Every now and then she's still doing things too. I still play the Nicker roulette. Nicker Russian roulette. Have you ever done that?
No.
Ooh.
Here we have. Definitely got a part two now.
I'll tell you now, alright. So what happens if your wife or your girlfriend's does something wrong that she doesn't supposed to do, like, do you know what I mean? So just go upstairs, get a tin of deep heat, okay, one pair of knickers, and just spray it in the crutch, alright? And then just put it back in the knicker drawer and mix them up. Alright, every morning you're thinking, is today the day? Or is it tomorrow? Do you know what I mean? And then you put them on, you just wait about 10 minutes, like, you know, and if everything's normal, you're alright. You know what I mean? And then you know when it hits, and she goes, and you go, what? And she go, oh. And then she starts freaking jumping up, running around the room like, she go, you have, haven't you? I go, mine have. Sometimes it could be like a week and a half after you've done it. There's that bloody many knickers in the drawer, but it still comes alive after a bit, like, you know, and that's it. They're doing cartwheels and everything. You bastard.
That's brilliant. I think we're going to be organising a pint with you, mate, after this.
Yeah. Oh,
Nicker roulette.
I'm just already thinking of us three and your half fella, mate, having a pint. Oh my God.
You know.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we're only local, so we'll...
Mate, this has been an absolute pleasure. Mate, I think the funniest pod we've done, mate. For me anyway, it's fucking... You're a funny fella, mate.
I've enjoyed it, yeah, it's been good.
I appreciate it, and no doubt people will be asking for a part 2 as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mate, thanks so much, mate.
Spot on.
Tell some jokes next time.
yeah. That's what we do. We're moving into stand-up.
I'm still laughing at the fucking mice walking.
Yeah.
He's still in there.
Yeah. You said you that booking confirmation. Dave, legend, mate, nice one. Loved it. Cheers.
Cheers, bro.